All right, YouTube. Here we go. Mimighoul Kashtira updated deck profile
Yep, I'm back,
of
baby.
November. This was going to be ran at regionals, but unfortunately he didn't get to go. But
Yeah, I got sick, unfortunately.
but he still probably would have topped. It's okay.
Well, maybe we'll see.
So show us the deck profile, the upgraded stuff with the new stuff. Let's see what we got going.
Yeah, I can show off the pure version after the list, but since this is the most competitive version, we're not going full pure. We're doing Kashtira just like last time. But yeah, let's get into it. We'll start with the engine first. It's 3 dragon, 3 archfiend, 3 fairy, 1 slime, 1 master. This is just the best extender because it's like the new armor one is nice, but you just rather have fairy every time because you don't want to depend on your opponent. And then slime is the new Cerberus of the deck, where it's just the 1 card you get off maker every time. If you know what these cards do, it's just searcher, flip guy. And since these are all flips, you need this one. This is the best card in the deck. Not really. This gets you to the best card in the deck every time. But yeah. This just allows you to go into all the new Xyz, which is the whole point of the new support. And then this is the boss monster.
Nice.
This is how it goes, Next is the spell traps. This is the real best card in the deck. Dungeon, terraforming. Dungeon, if you don't know what it does, if your opponent has a face down guy they can't normal, it makes all your guys very big, like this guy. It's only measly 500, but under the field spell, he goes up to 25. So they all become big beast sticks. And then it also is a searcher. It recycles from graveyard or from deck. So it keeps you grinding every turn. So even though there's not a ton of names, you always have access to all of them. We have Maker, which is the third best card in the deck. This is now 1 card thanks to both Slime and all the recursion from the Xyz. If you don't know what it does, it reveals 2 flips, and then your opponent randomly chooses one, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. The one that they choose gets summoned to their field, and the other one gets added to your hand. And then after that, you can special summon any Mimighoul from hand, not just the one you get off the randomness. So sometimes what I like to do is search Archfiend preemptively, so that even if you miss, you still get to flip their guy for free. You don't have to worry about going through random hoops like punishment, like in the last list, but you still run it just in case. And then the second best card in the deck is obviously Room. It's literally E-Telly plus Book of Moon, which no need to say, that's completely broken.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, and then both of these also have graveyard effects. This one bounces cards from all your Mimighouls back to hand, so you can either recycle normal summons or recycle one-ofs like Throne, which we'll explain later. This one, when your opponent special summons, which they'll have to do because they can't normal, you banish it to flip. So if you have like a dragon face down that they are trying to play around, you just flip it and blow up their board.
Nice.
Next is the Kashtiras. The planet, 2 Kashtira Unicorn, 1 Fenrir, 1 Birth. Usually I would like to go 3 Unicorn and then put the Kashtira Fenrir in the side deck, but this deck just struggles to go second, so I'm like, just put in the 1 and hope for the best. Unicorn is always broken because you're always triggering it for free, because your opponent is the one being forced to activate your Mimighouls, so you always get to basically get 1 to 2 extra grips for free. Birth is broken because it's 3 call buys, and then Planet is the Searcher, so it's really good. Next, I'm still flip-flopping on this, but I think I like it, is the 3 Bestials. This one you always want to run because it searches Mimighoul Dragon, because it's a dragon. These 2, I'm still flip-flopping because it's sometimes good, but when it is good, it's great.
Yeah.
And it also lets you play Seals, which, if you have enough bodies, is a literal FTK. I mean, Teptide does it all the time in turn 1, so it shows you just how strong Seals is. Next, we got the hand traps. 3 Ash, 3 Nib, 3 Imperium. It's not a lot, but it is what it is. Nib is terrible this format, but sometimes people don't respect it, and it also destroys rogue decks, so I still play it.
Nice.
And then it's Ash Imperium, the second 2 best hand traps in the game. You kind of have to.
I ran Nib at regionals and I saw it every game, and I saw 2 at one point.
Yeah.
My hand started, so. But and I nibbed the guy twice.
It's great. Then we got the call by to stop the hand traps because we hate Ash and Droll because Droll. It doesn't sound like Droll hurts you that much, but it literally turns off Maker because since you can't add, you can't even summon from. Use the first effect to summon it to your opponent's field, so it literally turns it off. So you always want to like say no to Droll.
Call-by needs to come to 2, man.
Yeah, and then finally the Talon's double thrust. Like I said, your opponent is always activating your Mimighouls, so these are free.
Busted.
You always it's like extra deck rip plus hand rip plus setup is just wild.
And what was the main deck?
It's 43, yeah.
43.
It's same as last time, but we took out some of the bad cards because we have better cards, and we put most of them in the side deck. Like we put Shifter in the side deck because Maker is so much better now. You kind of want to have the graveyard effect, so Shifter actually becomes slightly worse in this deck. But because it still can play Shifter, it hurts you more than it hurts me. So you want to play in the side.
Plus, it's Shifter.
It's just
turns
Shifter.
off a lot of decks.
It turns every deck off except Tempai, and even then, Tempai sometimes doesn't want to play Shifter. So it's like just the fact that it turns off every deck, you kind of have to play it. Then we have back removal, triple cosmic, 1 feather duster. I tried. What was it called? Lightning Storm.
Yeah.
Because you can thrust off of it, but it's just too slow, unfortunately. Especially in like the Labyrinth matchup where they just go, I'm going to chain all my traps in standby phase, and you just cry.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of times I've been anti-spelled out of my life savings, and I can't respond because my back removal is a normal spell, makes me want to die. And then finally is Raigeki, because it's a board wipe, and also it's a thrust target.
And you just run the 1 just because it is a thrust target, right?
Yeah, it's just the 1. Plus, since you can make her into dragon at all times, you basically run 4 copies of Raigeki anyway. So it's like you only need the 1 anyway.
Nice.
Then finally, we run triple evenly matched because we hate boards. Double dimensional barrier because we hate extra decks. And since you can thrust, you can force trade in 2, and there can be only 1. We moved it to the side deck because we have enough space for good cards, and this is just going first, I win.
Nice.
And I think that finishes up the last card because I couldn't figure out a 15th card to put in the extra deck or in the side deck. We are still running the funny card.
Let's go.
Yeah, because you're running Nib plus all the Kashtiras, you can just be like, I'm gonna tribute your board. It sounds bad because it's like worse Raigeki, but because it can unoutable guys, like if you ever run against the Raid Raptor deck, this is your win condition. It literally says goodbye Ultimate Falcon.
Nice.
Because it performs a game mechanic, not an actual effect. But yeah, like I said, if you don't want to run the Kashtira stuff, you take out where is it? Where are all the good cards? You take out these, and then you put in these.
And just make it pure.
Yeah, double fork. Because it's kind of good. Unfortunately, it's another thing that lets your opponent choose, but under Droll it doesn't, because since you can't draw, they're forced to pick the first one.
Wow. That's wild.
But since its second effect searches itself, you want to at least run 2. 3 is a bit excessive, which is why you run it at 2. But if you don't know what it does, you target an opponent's face down, and they either choose to flip it or send it to the graveyard, and if the thing that they send goes up into your graveyard, it's draw 2. So it's basically Destiny draw, but with extra steps.
Yeah.
And then eventually you +1 off it because you banish it and get another copy for next turn. It's fine, but most of the time a good player will know when to choose which option, so it's kind of just noob bait, unfortunately. But I still like it in pure. We play the 1 charm because it's funny. It's worse Kashtira Unicorn because it rips the extra deck. That's why.
Worse Kashtira Unicorn.
It's fun, and if you have everything, you can search it. But unfortunately, the problem is because it doesn't do anything by itself, it's not a card that's worth like playing.
Yeah.
you basically have to already open the nuts in order to use it, and even then, it's just I'm gonna steal your extra deck and hope for the best. I either don't get Promethean locked, or I hope I steal something good from your extra deck, which half the time you don't. Because unfortunately, they love random, and you have to randomly pick from your extra deck, which I hate. Like, just let me pick. I just want to take a peek. And because it's random, you don't even get to look at their extra deck. You just randomly summon one. And then finally, the armor. It's the second extender. Basically, its flip effect sucks ass. It's your guys that are undestroyable by battle.
Yeah.
So, just the fact that its flip effect sucks, it's most of the time not worth playing. If it's you don't know the summon condition, basically, Fairy summon all the new flip effects can summon themselves if a certain condition are met to your field instead of your opponent's. Fairy is if you control a Mimighoul. This one's if your opponent controls a monster. And Slime is if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, which is why you only want to run, because that effect is hard to pull off turn one. But yeah, it's just extra material essentially.
Nice.
Yeah. Onto the extra deck, we play Double Giant. On summon, it searches any Mimighoul card, which is why you're able to go over 40, is because this card searches any card in your deck, so you're afforded to play your deck is so redundant, they get to play extra copies of everything and go over 40 and not have to worry about it. And because you get to go over 40 and you still have the redundancy, it lets you have extra cards to side out. Like, you get to slim down the Mimighoul stuff. Like, you take out one Fairy, one Archfiend, one Room. That's 3 extra cards to just say, I'm going to shove in Shifter, plus whatever things you side. Second effect is your Mimighouls that aren't Xyz get to attack directly. So if your opponent doesn't flip, you just get to punch for game because all your guys are massive.
Heck yeah.
And then the final effect is you detach one to destroy face-up monsters, face-up cards equal to the amount of face-down monsters they control. And that's face-up cards on the field, not just on their field. So it's not only a time card, but it's also a late-game end push. So if you just barely miss lethal, you blow up their board and your board, burn for at least 1,000. And then in time, you pop itself. Burn for game. We got the One Throne. Like I said, this one's slightly worse than this one, but you get to recur it off the trap because it bounces cards to hand, not just monsters. So what this one does is you detach one to summon the Master from hand deck or graveyard, which is another reason why you don't run Shifter, because you want to link off the Master and then still bring it back. Or, yeah, that's basically it. And then its other effect is during the main phase, you can equip it to the Master and then bounce cards equal to the material it had. So it's a bounce 1 to 2 of any card on your opponent's field. Non-targeting, too. So it's kind of crazy. And then if you need to summon Master again next turn, you just bounce it back to extra deck because it's still on the field as an equip card, and then you resummon it. We play the one punishment just in case, because sometimes you just need to flip the guys. I really hate it, but it's kind of necessary, because the only other card worth playing is Beauregard, and Beauregard sucks.
Yeah.
It's a Link 4. Who wants to run a Link 4 when you can just run an Xyz?
Yeah.
We play one Anima because all your guys are level 1 and Anima's broken. IP, SP, because this is the best combo in the game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And also because you can just go Anima steal something, Anima into SP, that's remove 2 things on the board. We run, like I said, the Seals because you have Bestials, so that's basically 6 dragons that you can use to make this card. If you don't like this card, just replace it for Silhouette. I've been thinking about doing this, but I just don't know what to put in the main deck or what to remove from the main deck in order to make room for this. I'm probably going to move. I just need a little bit more testing.
Any specific target you will use whenever you use Seal's effect to send himself to grave?
It's either just summon Mimighoul Dragon for follow-up, or just summon like Druid's Worm or Baldrake.
Gotcha.
Just for disruption.
Gotcha. Nice.
Nightmare Phoenix, because you need to get rid of the back row. And if you're playing the pure version, if you ever steal Promethean, this is the only way to get out of the lock. So you kind of have to play it. We'll play one Griffin, because now that you can spam bodies, you have a slightly easier way of getting to this card. And this card not only recycles your spell traps, but also I explained in the last video is it stun locks your opponent because you can room summon to the point, and because
Yeah.
they can no longer link a card to it, they can't activate special summon monsters effects. So since you room special summon that turn, they can't flip it, they can't normal, and all their special summons are skill drained.
Dang.
So if you can get to this card, it's killer.
Heck yeah.
We play access code to kill because you kind of need to. Even with all the Xyz stuff, like punching extra, sometimes you just need to be like, pop the board, hit for 4 to 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, we play Underworld Goddess because sometimes if you can't get to the soul exchange, you could just spam out bodies until you remove the threat.
Heck yeah.
And then finally is the Zeus package. Nightingale, Downerd Zeus.
Good old classic.
Good old classic. Yep. If you don't have enough disruption, just go. You can literally just go normal, any Mimighoul, special fairy, make Literalist. That's Zeus right there.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you just poke directly.
Nice.
Yeah,
man.
that's the list.
Awesome.
I'm sorry for rambling, but it's a lot to explain because this deck is it plays on such a weird axis, which is why it's able to take games. Because your opponent just doesn't expect you to be like, yeah, I'm gonna give you cards for free, and it's gonna hurt you.
Heck yeah, man. Awesome. Thanks for the deck profile.
Yep.
Hopefully we can see this one at the next regionals, man.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.